You're listening to 11 O'Clock Comics. I'm Tana Ford here at New York City Comic Con with these lovely gentlemen. And later, I'm going to be drinking Basil Hayden's Dark Rye.
You had to do a little mouth preparation before that. I heard it. It worked good. It worked real good.
Well, I had to just turn my head ever so slightly, and I got my mouth ready for it.
I was a character in Deliverance there for a second. They heard it. It's okay. It happens. Oh my goodness. So many books. Yeah, so many books.
All the books.
On Jason's list.
Yes. All the books.
A giant stack.
I'm in a celebratory mood, fellas. I don't know if you noticed, but
You should be.
my beloved team won the Super Bowl in convincing fashion.
Oh,
That's what I heard.
you got to tell everybody.
They should know. I hope they watched it. 120 million people watched it, so I'm assuming a good chunk of people
It's a
listening.
lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people listening to this, hopefully, fingers crossed, because it's 11 O'Clock Comics, episode 969, and I'm Vince B.
You are Vince B. I am David A. Price.
That is true. And of course, I am one of the world's biggest Philadelphia Eagles fans. Go Birds! E-A-G-L-E-S. Eagles! Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory. Fight, Eagles, fight. Score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high. And watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory.
That's great. One episode where I'm so glad I have the editing control.
Bro.
See ya. I'm Jason.
Bro.
What? That was beautiful.
What?
Brought a tear to my eye. I'm just glad you're happy. No, it's wonderful.
Honestly, truth, I'm 50, as you know. I'm saying for this jump.
Really?
No, I'm saying this is, without question, the greatest Eagles team of my lifetime.
Okay. That's good. Glad you're happy. You're Jason Wood, everybody. Here together in the All Eagles All the Time celebration episode, brought to you by CheapGraphicNovels.com. CheapGraphicNovels.com. Do you need a translator? I don't think so. Everything you need to know is right in the name. If you're looking for OGNs or trade paperback collections or the omnibus, maybe some manga, yes, right, or an art book or 2 or 3, you know where to go to get them where the prices are low. CheapGraphicNovels.com. If you are a very first customer, it's the first time ordering from CheapGraphicNovels.com, you want to pick up 1 or 2 things, you will get an email receipt saying, hey, thanks for ordering from CheapGraphicNovels.com. You're going to reply to that email receipt saying, I would not have known about the glory, the majesty of CheapGraphicNovels.com if it wasn't for my buds at 11 O'Clock Comics. And Max is going to wave that magic wand of savings, tap you right on the bridge of your nose because you're so cute with your little freckles, and you will receive free shipping on your next order. And that's when you get all the books. All of them. Max is going to have to restock the warehouse because you bought so many books.
Dear Lord.
You're smart. And you know what? It's okay if the warehouse gets emptied out because specials come in all the time. New book.
This is true.
Yes.
New book. Who dis? There were. This was almost a mainstream, a Big Two exclusive list of specials. But I decided to mix it up with one. But anyway, we're kicking it off with the DC Finest Doom Patrol, the world's strangest heroes. $23.99. Robot Man, Elastigirl, Negative Man, Beast Boy, the Chief are regarded by society as misfits and outcasts, and have all experienced personal tragedies that granted them extraordinary abilities. Their first DC Finest volume collects stories from March 1964 through November 1966 from the pages of My Greatest Adventure, Doom Patrol, The Brave and the Bold, Challengers of the Unknown, and Teen Titans. Far Sector, the deluxe edition hardcover, Hugo, Locus, and Nebula winning author. N.K. Jemisin thrusts readers into a stunning sci-fi murder mystery, Newly Chosen Green Lantern, Sojourner Joe Mullen must solve, and artist Jamal Campbell brings the city enduring a massive metropolis of the 20 billion people still alive to life. Collects Far Sector numbers 1 through 12, Green Lantern 80th Anniversary 100-page Super Spectacular number 1, DC Pride number 1, DC Power A Celebration number 1, and DC Power 2024 number 1. I believe those anthologies is just the material featuring Joe. Cursed Pirate Girl, Melodious Mutiny. There's 2 flavors, hardcover and trade paperback, $22.49 and $14.99 respectively. More than a decade in the making, the classic fantasy by Jeremy A. Bastian combines a keen sense of story and the unique art style reminiscent of 15th century engravings, making this book not to miss. Collects Cursed Pirate Girl 2015 Annual number 1 and Cursed Pirate Girl The Devil's Cave number 1. Avengers, Young Avengers, Modern Era Epic Collection, Not What You Think, trade paperback, $26.99. Who are Iron Lad, Hulkling, Patriot, Stature, Wiccan, and Kate Bishop? And what, if any, are their connections to the heroes that inspire them? Collects Young Avengers numbers 1 through 12, the Director's Cut, and Young Avengers Special. And finally, Fantastic Four Grand Design trade paperback, $12.59. Relive the debut of the biggest friends and foes in the FF's history. Doctor Doom, the Black Panther, Galactus, the Mole Man, and the Inhumans, and more, as the fabulous Fantastic Four receive the Grand Design treatment by none other than Tom Shield. It collects Fantastic Four Grand Design numbers 1 and 2.
There you go. That's a whole bunch of stuff.
That's a lot of
for the slackers will be up. Probably not tonight. Well, by the time you may hear, it'll be up tomorrow.
Nice. What Dap is alluding to is he posts extra stuff on the Slack. Other specials that maybe you may be interested in, maybe you're not interested, but you know what? You never know about them unless A, you're on the Cheap Graphic Novels mailing list, which you should be, or 2, you're a member of our Slack, which is awesome.
Damn Skippy Bips.
And that's patreon.com/11 o'clock comics if you want to get on that.
Mm-hmm. And before we wrap up tonight, there will be something else that will be exclusive to the Slackers that I'll announce from our good friend of the show, and fourth chair, Tina Ford.
Dick pic. I was going to say a dick pic, but that doesn't apply.
No, that really doesn't.
I had it in my tongue before I heard the name.
More appropriate if you tried.
Yeah, I know. I know. This is me. I love you, Tana. I was going to say it whether it was you or not.
That's great.
So yeah, I love you so much. I'm drinking.
What you drinking? Clearly.
Yeah, it's better than the other wine I had, but it's not exactly great. It's one of those big ass bottles of, hey, I need something to go to Jimmy's house. Let's go grab a bottle of wine that won't set us back a whole bunch of money. Liberty Creek, it's probably swill. It's a cab. It's okay. It's not bad. It's, like I said, it's better than the last one, but it's, the grand scheme of things, it's not great. But
that's a resounding endorsement.
It's keeping me a little grounded, so that's all right.
Okay. I, too, am drinking because it is a celebratory week for me. Got lots to celebrate. Yeah, got to celebrate. I am drinking a very, very nice bottle of wine. It's called Cheval de Andes, as in like the Andes, Argentinian wine. It is a red blend. It is 49% Cabernet Sauvignon, 48% Malbec, and just a pinch of Petit Verdot. It is. Now this one's going to set you back a bit. It's pricey, but worth every penny. It's a 98 on James Suckling.
Wow.
And they have to say that it's complex aromas of blueberries, pie crust, fresh flowers, and currant, brushed with hints of baking spices like nutmeg, medium to full body with extremely fine tannins that are integrated and gorgeous, graceful and refined with super length.
That's me.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the super
graceful with super length. Yeah, that is you. This could be the Vince. But it's really, really good. And yes, sometimes you get what you pay for.
Exactly.
There we go.
I could probably buy 10 of what I have here for what you paid for that.
Easily.
Right?
How much did the bottle cost you?
I don't freaking know, like $20.
Oh no, this is like a $90 bottle of wine.
So half.
4.5. You got 4.5 of them.
Nice.
Yeah, but Jason's bottle is like 750 milliliters, and Vince has the liter.
No, I got the one
That's
you
true.
can sling it over your back like a
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, like the Gallo,
like
big
the
Gallo
jug
jugs.
band, the jug band. Boop,
Yeah,
boop, boop,
okay.
Yep. Yeah.
With the Parmesan
All right.
shit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I went back to the well, grabbed the same thing I had last week. It's the Noble Oak Double Oak Bourbon.
Nice.
Big old Borg cube for Vince.
I love that.
Yes.
All right, let's. Speaking of Doom, we mentioned Doom somewhere along
sure.
the line. There's a Doom book that came out today.
Oh, the comic you mean? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it's supposed to be like an event. All books are going to tie into this thing. One World Under Doom.
Yes, it's the Blood
Oh,
Hunt
Doom.
sequel.
I thought you said Dune.
I don't
you
read
said
Dune
Doom.
comics. No. Doom.
I was going to say you're going to talk about a Dune comic. So I'm like, wow, that's
House Andreades, what?
Every Dune comic I've ever read is terrible, but
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yes. Hence the reason
Doom
why.
as in Victor Von,
Yes.
as in the new Sorcerer Supreme. Yes.
Yes. One World Under Doom. Written by Ryan North. Illustrated by R.B. Silva. With color art by David Curiel. And VC's Travis Lanham did the lettering. Ben Harvey did the cover. Yes, there's a bunch of covers
Love
for
the Ben
this
Harvey.
thing.
Shout out
Yeah.
to the Ben.
I was very, very, very surprised. Full disclosure, that's great. Full disclosure, the only reason why I read this is because it features Doom. What with me being a diehard Fantastic Four fan, I should know what is currently the status quo for Vic. And I don't have a problem with any of this story. I think the fact that Doom is the new Sorcerer Supreme is not only smart, but if you go back through Victor's history, Doom has dallied in or dabbled and studied magic. He has. It's just a fact of Doom. He went to hell to rescue his mother. You can't just go to hell if you're not wielding magic. So I think it's entirely appropriate that he's now the new Sorcerer Supreme. I'm a little bit tired of Weepy Stephen because it seemed like Stephen loses the title of Sorcerer Supreme like every other week.
First of all,
Bronies
no,
and
it was,
ambulance. Doom needs an ambulance. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
the deal was he gives the mantle to Doom so he can take care of what he had to take care of with the vampires. And then Doom's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to hold on to this for a minute. So I can kind of get why Stephen
Hey,
might be his
possession,
feelings.
9/10 of law, right?
Yeah, but now this is just, the Doom's like, I'll give it back when I'm done. But bro, like, it's not, I get it, Doom's going to be Doom. But it was...
Hey,
it
no
was a-
takebacks, man.
It just seems like the name tag Sorcerer Supreme, like the pin doesn't quite close all the way for Steven. And it's like, oh, lost my damn tag. Who has it this? Oh, Clea has it.
got it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she
Yep.
got it. And then,
To be fair, he was dead then. I mean, that's not exactly.
okay, he was dead. Yeah.
Well, he was.
But I mean, what about the other times when someone else had the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme? It seems like a very slippery slope for Steven.
Right.
Either you is or you ain't. Right?
Is you is or is you ain't?
My sorcerer.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. But, okay, the premise. What is the premise here? Doom, I guess this is the fallout from Blood Hunt?
Blood Hunt.
Yes. So Doom unites all of the countries on Earth under the Latverian banner with stipulations. I believe there are two. Thank you. The first being no other, let's call them Latverian annexed one-time nations can go to war with another nation. There's no more war. Doom says, you know what? You're all under my banner, so there's no fighting. If you fight, I'm going to step in, and I'm going to end it. And it's probably not going to be pretty for the aggressor. So no more fighting. Number two, universal health care and education. Not just for those that can afford it. Everyone. The rich, the poor, the disenfranchised, the ostracized, everyone gets free health care and the opportunity, should they decide to do so. He was a little unclear on the fact that whether or not they had to enroll in higher education or if it would be available to everyone. Either way, I don't see anything wrong with what Doom is demanding. It seems like utopia to me.
I mean, hasn't he always been? Isn't that what makes him an interesting anti-hero? Because he's always been the benevolent dictator,
right?
Waiting, right?
And I thought, wow, that's a great way to start off a story with a bulletproof monologue by someone who is, all intents and purposes, should be a villain. But again, Doom is so multifaceted that yes, he is a villain. I guess in the by definition of villain, yeah, I guess he qualifies more often than not. But I don't see anything like I'm loving the page where the guy's on the phone. He's like, "Yeah, did you hear that? That's terrible. We gotta bring that bitch down." And it's like, what? He basically solved all the problems for every country on Earth with one little, with two stipulations. Why would you go against this? Maybe because he's not an elected official. The people did not vote him into power, so therefore he is making laws, or he's dictating things without the clearance of the subjects. But Doom has never cared about. Well, I shouldn't say that. The will of the people has mattered to Doom, but only within the confines of Latveria, and only if they were in the interests of whatever he was planning at the time, right? So now the world is Latveria. It's kind of like the JLA in the DC universe. We're all in Latveria now at Marvel.
Yeah.
I think it's a neat premise. I was pumping my fist. I was like, go Doom. This is it.
Look at you.
This is the way to
Look
be.
at you.
But, dude, okay. Capitalism's going to take a big hit, but everybody's going to be taken care of. Probably have extended lifespans because of it, and everyone is going to be intelligent. There's no shunting an entire segment of the population aside just because they don't have the opportunity for education. That's beautiful. There should have been doves in that panel. Just
This is like Karl Marx's dream ruler, right? Like this is the ultimate. This is like he presented what would be the perfect academic version of socialism.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, I'm coming at this from my son being a communist, as you know. So he's
Right.
a Karl Marx lover. So yes,
Right.
and a Lenin
He's
lover.
not all that. I knew that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I will say that we've talked about this a lot over the years. I mean, Doom's one of the best, if not the best, villain in Marvel. All right, I mean, he's most well-rounded, most interesting. In part because he doesn't see himself. I guess a lot of villains don't see themselves as a villain, but he really doesn't have any. At his best, when people write him well, he does not. His motivations are not, mustache twirling. I just want to commit evil.
Right. I mean, you could see the Red Skull looking into a mirror. You're good enough. You're smart enough. You're not a villain, but the Red Skull's a villain. Right. But Doom, you got to take a step back and assess the situation. A lot of times Doom is not a villain.
And Doom has been benevolent, right? There was a run where he took over for Iron Man. He's been an ally as many. Well, I was about to say he's been an ally as often as he's been an enemy. That's not true. He's been the enemy more often, but he has been an ally. He's definitely, I think I'm with you. I think structurally this is off to a good start. I will point out to you as someone who is a big time lapsed Fantastic Four fan, and you probably know this already, but Ryan North has been the writer of the ongoing Fantastic Four series. So it would make sense that he would do this event, but if you like this, I mean, it certainly would at least open the door for you to take a peek into Fantastic Four. I know it's been a lot of years, but I think Ryan North's a very good writer. I know that we had some pre-game conversations about R.B. Silva on art. I will say it is a different style for him. If you look at his work on Powers of 10, which I think was the first thing that made him a quasi-household name, or if you look at his run on the Jackson Kelly Lansing, Sam Wilson Cap book, which I adored 2 years ago. This is a very different visual approach, very different. So I can't say I loved the art as much as I expected to when I saw his name on the credits. I didn't dislike it. Like it doesn't detract me from wanting to continue reading this event, but I will say I was a bit surprised, and I don't know if it looks like he inked himself. He didn't always ink himself. I know with the Hoxpox he was inked by, I think, Andrea De Benedetto. So maybe that's part of what's going on here. Or maybe he just changed his process. Maybe he's more digital now, or less digital. I don't know, but I would say the art was a little bit of a downer for me, just because I expected it to be like Pepe Larraz level. Holy shit!
Oh yeah, okay.
One of Marvel's bet. No, because he's one of the Marvel considers him one of their A-list people. These days, just like Larraz, he's up there. So I was a little that was a teeny bummer for me, but overall, I'm with you. I think the story and the premise and the characters that we got a ton of characters in this book. All felt very, very real, in what we got of them. Like they felt like on model in terms of what I expected those characters to say and do. So yeah, I'm here for it. I'll be back for it.
Yeah, I'm going to be far less judicious than you in assessing the art. I thought the art was, if the story was not as good, there's probably no way I would have made it through the first issue.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I get it.
Too many silhouettes, too much digital fooling around.
In love with the faces.
Yeah, and the
really not in love with the Doctor Strange that's got going on here.
No, our heroes look like cosplayers.
They do.
They don't look like the heroes they're supposed to represent. What did I say today? They look like when you take stuff out of the oven a little too early and it's kind of undercooked and it doesn't look like it's supposed to be. It looks like there wasn't enough time and energy invested in maybe different approaches to the facials. Yeah. Like that doesn't look like Carol. It doesn't not look like Wanda.
Doom and Zemo are the best looking
because they don't have faces.
They're not human faces.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Iron Man looks great. Wow, that's wonderful. One demerit for Johnny's mustache. What the hell is going on there? But no,
that's not his doing. No, that's the current.
Yeah,
like he didn't make that.
Okay. As an illustrator, to take an entire page that features nothing but Susie's side, not her backside, her side, saying, "Oh, here comes the plane." If anybody need a ride, and it's just basically digital buffoonery. Like whatever. That's an entire waste of page.
Also, the Ryan Brown tangent was in effect in the page where Doom appears riding the Tyrannosaurus Doom.
Yeah,
it looks like like it's a toy and it's sitting on the dude's hand because you see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know. I guess I was too distracted by the digital blips and everything in that panel. It's just and again, why would you put a hand in the foreground like that?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
What does that accomplish? It's just weird. Yeah. There are some panels that are like, okay, I mean, if you did that the entire issue, I could understand. Like the panel, there's one page where you have Cap and Storm and Carol and Spider-Man and Fantastic Four, and it ends. The last page has a giant pink sound effect, and but that's not technically not a bad page. Mm-hmm. If all the pages had that level of investment, I think I don't know. I just the visuals fell. They didn't fall. They thudded for me. I just didn't. I'm not appreciating the visuals on this book.
I got you.
Yeah, but the story, holy shit! Like it's great. And I have to be honest. Like you said, Pepe Larraz. I was reading this thinking maybe halfway through. I mean, Pepe Larraz would have annihilated this. This would have been like one of those events that we fantasize about where the story's as good as the art, and so far anyway. I mean, we said that about that Avengers thing with that what was it? All the older Avengers trying to Twilight. Yeah, we said that about the first issue of that. That didn't pan out, but sorry. But I mean, this could have been This could have been. And it still can't. I think story wise, this is going to be great if North keeps up, the smarts and the momentum like he did this first issue is wonderful.
Nice.
And to further hammer the point home that he's ripping Steven off, one of the spin-offs is called Doom Academy.
Ooh, not a good look.
CB, just cashing checks, just stealing money.
I think if Valeria doesn't appear, it's going to be a missed opportunity. Because Doom loves Valeria.
Oh, Kristoff. Maybe that's who takes
Well,
it
and
now.
Valeria and Franklin are regular parts of the current FF.
Oh,
series
good.
Too,
Good.
Yeah.
That's nice. Good to know.
Yep.
I will say about the regular Fantastic Four, Alex Ross is doing some phenomenal cover work for that book.
Yeah, I think I talked about it a month or two back because I read a big chunk of it. It is like, it's funny. It's kind of, now that I think about it, Ryan North, I think, is crafting really terrific stories. Like, they feel like genuine Fantastic Four stories. But my complaint about the series is that it has got a revolving door of artists, which I think, and many of which are not up
not
to
good.
snuff. Yeah.
I mean, that's the flagship book. You got to put somebody on it that can steer the rudder.
Yeah.
And you know, this is just
Put Cassara on that book. Put Cassara on that book, or Laraz. Like, what are we doing?
What happened to Kevin Coley? Like, he's great. What is he doing?
Yeah, Giuseppe. He's doing
he's
the
doing
Ultimate
stuff for DC.
Spider-Man.
Oh,
is he?
Okay.
Well, or isn't he Ultimate Spider-Man? No, is that
That's Chichetto.
Chichetto? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Of. He's great too. Put him on Fantastic.
He's
Yeah,
good.
I know you and I love Chichetto. Jason Vince isn't as big a fan.
Shadow's very pencily, and
Oh no, I like him a lot. Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't like him. It's just on Daredevil, that kind of stuff works. On Fantastic Four, maybe not.
Right.
Where's Garvey? Where the hell's Garvey? Like, he's a great penciler.
Garney?
Garney. That's what I said. Garney.
Yeah.
Ron. Our boy Ron.
I was making sure I heard you right. That's all.
Yeah,
just
must be the
double-checking.
microphone.
Right.
Yeah.
Garney's been doing he's been making millions of dollars doing
Yes. Yeah.
Doing what?
Berserker, the massive smash hit of the Matt Kent Keanu Reeves book. It's sold, dude. It's one of the best selling books the last 5 years. Garney's probably making more off of that book than he's made at Marvel for 20 years.
Good. Then keep
Good
doing
for him.
it.
No,
I
good for him.
like Garney's work a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read the entire first deluxe edition of Berserker like a month or two ago, and you'll remember that I didn't bring it up for a reason.
Yeah.
It's everything I thought it would be. And you're saying, well, then why did you get it? Because it was I used some cheap graphic novel credits during one of the sales, and I was like, oh, I'll get this. You know, like, it's Kent and Garney, like, you know, like,
Can't miss.
yeah. More power to people. Love the book. I don't even want to shit on it. Like, people love. It's a smash hit. Like, and people are loving it. So more power to them. It's all good. Yeah,
It is all good. Again, like a brief aside, I'm not reading it, but how long is this Many Deaths of Spider-Man story going? It seems like it's been like 30 issues.
I couldn't tell you.
Because none of us read it.
But not only do I not read it, I genuinely don't even read the solicits in Marvel previews for the Spider stuff anymore. Like, I couldn't tell you who's writing it, who's drawing it, what villains are. I have no idea what's going on in the Spider-Verse. None whatsoever.
Launching Amazing.
They're relaunching it?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh, that's good. I mean, maybe we could jump in.
And I think, if I remember correctly, Pepe Larraz's name is attached to it. In which case, I'm telling you right now, if Pepe Larraz is drawing Amazing Spider-Man and it's going to be consistently drawn, like, I don't want like 3 issues on, like doing the Steggy thing on the X books, like doing 2-3 issues and then take a breather and then do another 3. If Larraz does like at least 6 in a row, like, I'll buy Amazing Spider-Man singles. That's a reason to read it.
Oh, you're right. You're right that it, but it's. You're right and you're wrong in that, yes, it is relaunching, but it's going to be rotating. Joe Kelly's writing it too. That's just pretty cool.
That's a plus.
But it's a rotating between Pepe and JRJR.
I'm out. Yep. Done. Me of 15 years ago, if he ever heard me talking like that, he'd be like, dude, you're out of your mind. Like, why?
Dude, I'm sure people that like the absolute nutters that go back and listen to our whole 1,000 episodes. Like, I'm sure we had many an early like early first 5 years raving about JRJR.
Because he was great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still think the Nocenti, JRJR, Williamson run of Daredevil, those are perfect comics.
Oh,
That was
yeah,
that was an absolute. That was chef's kiss to follow. Miller,
dude. Enemy of the State was my shit. Like I love
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
so yeah, shit. I love JRJR back then.
There must have been a point where he just thought, well, I guess I'm not going to get any better than I am right now, so I'm just going to keep doing what I do, and it's not what you used to do. It's different. It's yeah. Well, I mean, we don't stay young forever, so maybe he's just feeling the effects of time.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Trying to keep it optimistic, my friend.
That's right.
That's what we're about. We're about the optimism.
All the time, all day, every day.
Yeah, someone has to be.
Yes.
What else do we have?
So you were gobsmacked at when we posted what we read. You were gobsmacked.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that you. But then you clarified that it wasn't since last episode. It's been an ongoing thing.
Correct. Yeah. So I guess since around during the Christmas break, I think I probably started right before Christmas, but like during the holiday period and up until now, so roughly just about 2 months, I have been systematically from issue 1 through rereading all of Black Hammer. And when I say all of it, I mean all of it. I mean Black Hammer, I mean the miniseries of the characters, all the way through. And part of that was, there's 2 reasons. One, I've been on a rereading kick of late in general, just rereading stuff that I know I love, because it's bringing me more joy than a lot of the stuff that's on the shelves. And I'm like, why let that upset me when I have so many things I know will give me joy? 2, when Black Hammer was supposed to be done, and then it's not done anymore. Which I'm happy about, because I love the world, but Jeff is kind of like turning into Mignola in a lot of ways, which is good, right? worst people to be compared to, but in that, like, Mignola's had a few times over the years where he's like, I'm done with Hellboy, like I'm just not doing it anymore, and then a year later he does it. It's kind of with Jeff. I think this is like the second time now he's kind of said he's done with Black Hammer, and he's come back to it. Not mad at it, but since it's back, and we're currently in the middle of a series called Black Hammer Spiral City, which is the name of the city that the team is from originally. But now I haven't read any of that yet. But when I saw that he was coming back with a 3rd phase of Black Hammer, starting with this new miniseries, I thought, oh, let me dive back in, start rereading some of the old stuff, get my mind right about it before I read the new stuff. And it just turned into a thing where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to read the whole goddamn thing over again. And I'm so glad I did. It was as good, if not better, the second time around. For the sake of brevity, I'm not going to go through all the different titles and remind people what I thought of them. Some I loved more than others, but overall I love the whole thing. And interestingly, I had never read, like, as I was doing this, then I came to the realization I had never read Black Hammer The End, which was the 6-issue miniseries that came out, or finished, I should say, in 2023. And I realize now I didn't read it because I didn't, like, I remember at the time thinking, I don't want this to end. I don't want this world to be over. So I'm going to hold off on reading the end. And again, now that we know that it wasn't in fact over, it didn't end, and we have another phase, I'm like, okay, I will read Black Hammer The End now, since it is not in fact the end. So all in all, I guess it's, I didn't count it, but we're talking close to 60-ish, 65-ish issues, I guess. And I will say 2 things, because we never talked about them on the show. First, the end. So the end is, it's everything in this series, everything in this world was written by Jeff, except for Barbalian, Red Planet, which is a 5-issue miniseries. That was written by Tate Bromble. And then there was a super fun anthology during the pandemic called Black Hammer Visions, which was 8 issues, and each of those was a one-shot written and drawn by different people. So in that you had like Patton Oswalt and Dean Coates, Jeff Johns and Scott Collins, Chip Zdarsky and Johnny Christmas, Mariko Tamaki and Diego Alertegui, Kelly Thompson and Leonardo Romero, Cullen Bunn and Malachi Ward, and Matthew Sheehan, and then Cecil Castellucci and Melissa Duffy, and then last but certainly not least, Scott Snyder and David Rubin. So other than that series and the Barbellion, everything else has been written by Jeff. Different artists pretty much on every project for the most part. The titular series was co-created by Dean Ormston, and I believe he was probably going to be the main artist for most of this, but unfortunately he had some pretty significant health issues, which, again, I'm not speaking out of school, this is all very public at this point, but it kind of forced him out off the book, unfortunately, at a point, and so some different people took over. But the end was drawn by Malachi Ward, and it picks up about 20 years after the events of the original Black Hammer series, and then the follow-ons, which were Age of Doom and Reborn. And essentially, it's we're at a point now where the second generation of characters are now themselves grown up and largely not in the superheroing business anymore either. And then for the third time in the series span, Anti-God, which is basically, like the Anti-Monitor, Anti-God has come back to destroy not only this Earth, but all Earths, like in a multiverse. And so the heroes have to get together and thwart that. And I thought it was great. The thing about this series is that Jeff is basically taking very familiar tropes from superheroes that we've cared about, ranging from the Justice League to Justice Society to Teen Titans to Starman to, there's a litany of things, and made his own spin on them, and then put his own, I think, classic Lemire heart and soul and character development into this, where you feel for the characters, and that's what we got here. And I thought that the end was awesome. I will say Malachi's art is not exactly like my jam, I don't connect with Ward's art like I did with Max Fiumara or David Rubin or Ormston or Emmy Lennox, all people that have done work on the book, or Tyler Crook or Matt Kint. So I don't think the art connected with me as much, but he's a very talented artist and he's got a very distinctive style. So it worked fine for what I thought was a great story about characters I already cared about. So just amazing stuff, man, and I can't wait to dive into Spiral City, but I've learned with this that it's best for me to wait for an arc to be over and then just read it all in one fell swoop. So I think the 4th issue of Spiral City just came out, and I believe it's a 7-issue series, so I'll probably check that out in 4 or 5 months. But in the meantime, man, for people that are looking for superhero stuff, I think this is all great, and to Lemire and Dark Horse's credit, you can get it in a variety of ways. There's beautiful deluxe library edition hardcovers, which is how I reread it, but there are trades of the stuff. Obviously, you can get it digitally, so there's lots of ways for you to consume it. And if you haven't already done so, it's definitely time well spent.
Yeah, I'm a jerk. I've read about 3 issues of Black Hammer, the first series, 3 issues, and I was like,
I know.
But and it's not because I didn't find it intriguing. I found it. I think it was wonderful, but I lose track of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is not reassuring. I thought there was a little condemnation in that. Mm-hmm.
Well, if I made a list of my favorite comics that I read for you, haven't finished a lot of them. We've talked about this.
Maybe that's on purpose.
100 Bullets, Deadly Class. The list is long and distinguished.
check. What was the other one?
No, I'm painfully aware of all the things that I adore about comics that you don't seem to care about. Yeah, and I'm not excluding you either, Dap. You're insane.
Oh shit!
You ain't read most of this to completion either. Now you're making up for it by reading 100 Bullets now finally, but
no, I finished 100 Bullets, but
you did. Good. Okay. Oh, did we talk about
that? No. I was waiting, and
okay.
I didn't. I also didn't want to because I know Vince enjoyed the first book when we talked about it, so I didn't want to go all in.
Nah, you can go all in. It's not going to matter. Yeah.
All right.
It's a 20-year-old book at this point. Huh?
Yeah, that's fine.
No. I didn't know, but I didn't know if Vince was ever just going to you know what? Yeah, when there's a lull, he'll read it. I didn't want to go too deep into it and ruin anything. But
no, in the hierarchy of stuff that I would
about.
read in a lull, 100 Bullets isn't gonna. Yeah, no.
Okay,
Fine.
this is what I'm saying. You have hate in your heart when you respond. to these things.
I don't have hate. There's no hate at all. I'm just keeping it real. If what happened? I thought maybe we lost something because I heard a chime.
Yeah,
but
I heard that too.
yeah, if
I think that was my other laptop that it just I clicked on the wrong thing.
okay, nice. It did sound like a Windows prompt.
Yeah.
But no, I'm gonna gravitate towards the more fantastic stuff as opposed to the street level. Yeah, that's just how I am. But
You just said you read 3 issues of Black Hammer.
because we read them for the show.
I'm saying it's fantastical. You can't get any more fantastical than
Exactly, which is why I would read that far quicker than I would Under Bullets. Right.
And I have almost all of everything Black Hammer in singles.
Wow. Respect.
I just got
There you go.
because pretty much they were on my pull list with DCBS every time I just click add. So they were there. They're absolutely somewhere in this room. But yeah, it's Black Hammer's. I enjoyed that initial series and I loved what Jeff was doing with it. So I definitely wanted to support it. And I don't know if I ended up getting Visions though because of the varying creative teams. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Visions is your classic anthology, right? Like of the 8 stories, I think they vary in interest and quality. And I'm not going to put anybody on blast. I'm just saying, like for me, some of the stories I really connected with on both the narrative and the visuals, and others it was like, okay, yeah, it's fine. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't. I just think it's we are all very savvy in the way of anthologies. Like if you go in viewing it as the sum total, knowing that not every piece of it's going to be your jam, I think it delivers. But yeah, I think it's uneven.
Nice. While we're on the subject of both Dark Horse and you mentioned Mignola, Dark Horse recently had to lay some people off, and that's not fun for anyone on either side of the production chain. So I just want people to remember. And if you don't remember, I want you to be aware that Dark Horse is like an oasis in the comic book industry. There's always something at Dark Horse that will sweep you away from the mainstream in ways that you can't get anywhere else. Like the Black Hammer stuff. That's a world of books that's available at Dark Horse that, while they are reminiscent of specifically DC books, there's a very unique and very Lemirian spin on them that I think would not only, and it does, not only attract adventurous mainstream readers, but indie readers that are looking for something, maybe a little bit different, right? But one of the things struck me this weekend. I started rereading Mignola's Frankenstein books. Mm-hmm. And now there's not a whole lot of them, right?
No.
But it struck me that Mignola is like this silent monolith at Dark Horse, where he's just, bring me your tired, your weak, all that stuff. And he creates these books that are universes unto themselves, but they don't require a whole lot of heavy lifting. I'm not talking about Hellboy or BPRD. I'm talking about the secondary and tertiary books like Frankenstein and Witchfinder and Baltimore. And
yeah, these are my favorites.
Yeah, these books are amazing. And very rewarding, especially if you're a horror fan or, a fan of mythology or history even. And I'm reading the Frankenstein books, and I got to I originally read and talked about Frankenstein Underground way back when. Like, it's going on at least 9-10 years since I talked about that book, right? There have been series that followed it, but the thing that I respect and admire about Mignola is that he doesn't fuck around. Like, there was a series that popped up after it was actually the series that followed Underground. It was called Undone, Frankenstein Undone, and he was writing it with Scott Alley. And 2 issues came out. And I guess that was around the time Allie's predatory behavior was uncovered. And Mignola's just like, all right, we're done. Like, they stopped the series after issue 2. And not only did they stop it, the 2 issues that were published are not considered part of the Frankenstein, Mignola Frankenstein verse at Dark. They're shunned. They're not canon. They're just done. And so he's like, okay, let's just drive it in a different direction. And that's when New World came out. And then now there's another Frankenstein New World called The Sea of Forever. I didn't get to that yet, but I'm plowing through these books, and they're just amazing.
They are.
You know, I love the Frankenstein mythology, so it's not a hard sell with me. But I think Mignola learned his lesson. I don't want to say that it was a hard lesson, but he started on the right track with Hellboy, in that it was bite-sized chunks of the Hellboy story, but he seemed to forgot that on BPRD, which went on friggin' forever. BPRD has a lot of volumes, and it starts as BPRD, then there's a subtitle or called The New World, and it just kept going and going and going. It's like, where do I stopped reading for a while. It's like, okay, I got to start back up again. Where the hell do I start? There's just so much BPRD, and it's all like they would name the arcs different things, but it would still be the latest issue in the BPRD chain, you know?
162 issues and counting.
That's a lot, man. That's just crazy. It was War on Frogs, and then it was something else, and then it turned into the New World, and then it spiraled out into something else. Meanwhile, Lobster Johnson was going on, but that's not, I mean, it's connected, but it's not really. But Ape Sapien, that ran for at least, 40-some issues? More?
Probably. I haven't read that myself. I've read about half of BPRD, but I haven't read any of the...
You have them, right?
I have them all. Yeah, I have it all. Yep. Well, unless I'm trying to think of. I don't know if I have.
Oh, it's been a while since a BPRD book came out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I have it all because 2019 is the last time he did a BPRD.
Yeah, he's been focusing on the satellite books, which is great because I love it. And the graphic novel that came out not long ago, Bowling for Corpses or whatever was it called? Bowling with Corpses and Other Strange Tales from Lands Unknown. Did you guys read that?
Yes.
It's so good.
I did not.
It was okay. I didn't see it on either of your lists. That's why I wasn't gonna go into it until you've read it. But it's phenomenal, and it's this self-contained little volume. Nothing else needs to be read, and here you go. And it's a hardcover, and it's wonderful. Mm-hmm. What'd you think?
No, I thought it was great, man. Yeah. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of all. Like you said, of as much as I think Hellboy and BPRD are phenomenal, I think I love, and I will actually include like the Hellboy's one shots and stuff that he does now. Like anything that's like just a couple issues that he drops, I'm down to try because I know it's going to be super fun. He's going to get you right into it and get you out. Even my favorite is probably Baltimore just because of the vampire angle, right? Just like you love Frankenstein.
It's so sad though.
No, I know, but but we got the Baltimore and we got the Lady Baltimore. But But the other thing too is, and credit to him, and I think Lemire. I think Jeff undeniably patterns a good chunk of his career arc with Mignola, at least when it comes to his creator own stuff.
Right.
And what I mean by that is that he has, even though a lot of this stuff is maybe different in tone or inspiration, like he very much wants the same kind of visual aesthetic, same color palette, the same look and feel, and that's Mignola to a T, right? Like whether it be Dave Johnson coloring every book, but it's also like for all the artists he's been partnered with, that's Dave Stewart, sorry. Yeah. For all the artists he's been involved with, very different styles if you line them all up, but they all just kind of feel like they fit into the puzzle, right?
There's very much cohesiveness to the book.
Yeah, it's really impressive, and it speaks to Mignola being just a great art director. I mean, ultimately, he just really understands the aesthetic needed for these books, and and I think a lot of the people that make their mark on these books would not necessarily find a welcome home in big two conventional books, right? Like whether it be Warwick Cadwell Johnson or there's a litany of them, but
2 words, James Harren.
Yeah, yeah. And then you see them in these books, and you're like, "Fuck, they look great," you know.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, I have mountains of respect for Mr. Mignola and his work. I just wish I had it all.
Yeah,
I need to get back on that horse and get those library editions.
More respect for
like that Rasputin stuff's fun. The Black Flame.
Hell
is
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. Yep. Shout out to Mignola.
Pulling the plug on something. I think the last time I was reading something that happened to was
The Tom
Riley book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, that was one issue. That was terrible. I mean, the issue was great, but I mean, just to pull the plug on it, but the one that suffered was the artist.
Well, Tom's doing all right now. He's drawing one of the biggest books in comics. So he's
but I mean, you remember he was glowing when people were
he was
talking
18 years
about,
old.
Yeah,
he was 18. I mean, yeah, he had a published book at 18, which is unheard of. Yeah,
so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we never heard of that from that guy again, huh? I don't even remember his name. What was it? The writer?
Because he wrote Suicide Squad. Because actually he's the co-creator of the El Diablo from the first Suicide Squad movie.
Okay.
So he got credit for that, royalties for that. So I don't know how much. I don't know if he's not working in comics, but I don't know if he's hurting for work. Period. But yeah,
right.
But yeah, shit. Yeah, the fact that we don't remember his name is fine.
Right.
I guess so. Right. Yeah.
I guess so. All is well as was intended. Yes.
I have a wonderful distraction.
Love it.
Yes. It actually warmed my heart. That's pretty hard to do. Yes.
Seriously.
I think that's very hard. Right. That's very hard to do. Especially these days when everything is doom and gloom. This is from our booze at Silver Sprocket.
There you go.
Silver Sprocket rules, okay? This is a first timer.
Oh, it's so good.
His name is Connor B. And they have crafted a tale. It's a little bite-sized nugget. What is this, like 64 pages?
56.
56 pages. 56 pages. It's called Bring Me the Head of Susan Lomond. And I was like, okay. This looks intriguing. We got to, again, Silver Sprocket, they cornered the market on spot varnish, and great paper, because there's spot varnish on the cover here, and it's shiny and beautiful, just like every Silver Sprocket book ever, published in the last 2 years. But this is, I'll be honest, when I get a new book, I have to thumb through it. And I look at the art, and I was like, this thing looks like it could very well take place in the world of Ed, and Eddie.
Yeah.
And there's also a Dexter's Lab vibe to it. Because the main character, her name is Monroe Poole. And she's a kid genius. She's in high school. She's a kid genius. And very concerned about her standing in terms of the school ranking system. Right? Always tries to excel and has to top the list. She's got to be that one, the it person. And she was for a while until she wasn't. Somebody named Susan Lomond, that's right in the title, Susan Lomond, crept up the list and eclipsed her in the ranking. So Ms. Poole wants Susan gone. But that's not so easy, because Susan is a magnet for attention. She's an attention magnet. Not only does she excel academically, she's also a sports player. Football. Yes, she's a footballer. She's a
scores a winning touchdown.
She runs the ball, whatever that is, and gets the winning touchdown, and she's the object of everybody's infatuation. I think that the sequence is really great. You don't know that it's a woman. It's just this bulky person running to the end zone, and the announcers counting down, and the touchdown is made, and the helmet's taken off, and it's a woman. Susan Lomond, which is great. Shatter expectations, right? But Monroe tried to literally eliminate Susan by blowing up the end zone. Unfortunately, she did it. Well, fortunately, but unfortunately, she did it after Susan was carried away on the arms of the cheering team. See, what Monroe does is she self-sabotages herself. She tries to eliminate Susan, tries to bring her down, tries to kill her. I mean, some of these schemes that she's got going on, yeah, they're pretty deadly, right? You don't plant explosives in the end zone, but because she planted those explosions in the end zone, the forthcoming prom has been canceled. None of the kids like that. So Susan decides, hey, you know what? I can fix this. She uses one of her doohickeys to fix the prom. But it gets really weird. Like she buys an abstract giraffe sculpture. If I showed you the image and I said giraffe, you'd be like, okay, that's not a giraffe. But it's really strange looking and well, it's very surreal. And then she goes and digs up the recently deceased body of her cousin Nero, takes the brain and implants it into the sculpture of the giraffe, and it comes to life. There's a Frankenstein edge to this too, and the giraffe accompanies her to the prom. It's a very, very funny book, but I can't tell you why it warmed my heart. It's so sweet. The ending is so sweet. It's like, I don't like to be that person that's like, stop. There's too much emotions. Stop it. Turn them off. Make
emotional damage.
Yes, give the emotions to someone else. I don't need to feel. But you cannot help but feel at the ending of this book. And if I tell you what happens, then it spoils the entire book. So I'm not going to do it. Humorous. The art, I think, is phenomenal. It's very loose. Real thick-ass panel borders. Yes. It's a Silver Sprocket book. So it defies gender expectations whenever it can, right? The principal of the school is a woman, which is cool, but visually, to my eyes, looks like, a woman that is very bulky, very buff, right? So it's like women don't have to be mousy and petite, or be have certain visual qualities to be a principal. This is nice. It's in the Silver Sprocket zone, and there's a queer angle to it, which I'm not going to tell you about, but it's just funny as hell. I thought.
No, that's great.
Yeah,
I absolutely. This when this arrived, and so did another book, but I flipped through this immediately. Kyle had sent an email letting us know that it was coming. So yeah, as soon as he wrote up a little blurb for it, I was like, yeah, I need this even before that we were getting it from them, and as soon as I ripped open the envelope and I thumbed through it, and then I finally had time to sit down and read it, and it was one massive gulp. The whole thing, because I didn't want to stop, but I couldn't. I was enjoying the story. The art's fantastic. I want more from Connor. I can't wait to see what they do next. But the story was it was amusing. It was funny. It was it does get you in the feels.
Super
on
hard.
How thick that ice is around your heart.
Yeah, it's a kick to the heart. Shatters it.
It's and even the little things that, even when Granny is introduced, there's just so much that I really, really, really enjoyed this, and I want to see I want to see lately we've been getting a ton of books from Silver Sprocket by creators that are either new to the industry or just keep throwing their things out there that and they get picked up. But yeah, I definitely want to see more from Connor B. And I mean if we get a sequel to this, if we find out what happens to Susan or Monroe somewhere down the line, I won't be mad at that. But yeah, I think this was another home run from Silver Sprocket.
Monroe's expressions are like pure gold to me. And the fucking giraffe, the goofy ass, like,
dude,
stop. I'm looking at it thinking this is amazing, and it's very, very simple. Simple's hard. Simple's very difficult to do. And this is just pared down, beautiful, fluid mark making, unpretentious. They're not self-conscious at all. That's another way of saying unpretentious. I liked it a lot. I thought it was totally surprising. And when I closed the cover, I was like, wow, that was really sweet. Usually I'd be like, the fuck you reading that for? Like, no. I want to read zombies ripping apart, babies and using. No, this is just so sweet. It's human. It's a human book, which is
it is human, and it's so the storytelling is so deliberate. There's a searching and finding the giraffe. There's a the giraffe is an art project, and when Monroe finds the piece that she needs to complete this puzzle she's working on, the student who has created the giraffe is standing there, and Monroe walks up, "Excuse me," and then the next panel you see Monroe reading the placard of who created this art piece, and then that's one panel, nothing, and the student is looking at Monroe reading the plaque, and then Clyde. So Monroe had to get the name, but it was just their attitude. The way Monroe goes through life and how she expects people to react or behave, or the way she behaves around it. We all know someone maybe not the maniacal genius aspect of it, but we know people with that personality, and just there were, like you said, Vince, it's human, but there were so many. There were touches of reality, because there are interactions and reactions in the way people treat one another that you would see in the real world. It's a fun little book, absolutely, and it is it's on the CGN new releases list for this week as well.
Look at that! Wow,
serendipity.
Yep. I want to talk about the other book really quick. That came out from Silver Sprocket. It's called Loud and Smart and in Color.
It's so funny.
It's an all-new collection of Loud and Smart comics by Alex Krokus. And it is a collection of 4-panel humor strips with the main character's named Alex, and he's a raccoon. But the thing that got, and this is just, his daily adventures. He's obsessed with technology, and he has a lot of friends, but the thing that made me laugh out loud, I don't usually do that, because Jason says it all the time, because it's true. Humor in comics is very difficult to pull off. Extremely difficult to pull off. He's walking with his friend James. James is a chain-smoking worm. So they're walking, and it's like, yeah, we should do that movie. We should really get that movie done that we wanted to do. And James is like, yeah, on it. And the movie is called I Want to Fuck That Gorilla. And it's basically, and they go on a talk show, and it's like, oh, so yeah, you have a movie coming out. He's like, yeah, You know what? It's different, and I don't think it's going to. Art doesn't have to be profitable, and I think we're going to take this self-publishing route. And it's like, yeah, because your movie's called "I Want to Fuck That Gorilla." It's so stupid. But again, Silver Sprocket, what is up? Spot varnish, French flaps, the inside cover and inside back cover are littered with all of the characters that just trail through the strip. You have a guy who owes me email, a prank YouTuber, a sleep paralysis demon, Smirnoff Ice. Like what? There's a dying tomato plant. That's the best strip in the entire book.
Oh God, yes.
I don't know. I don't know if I should say it because I'm not going to say it. If you want to read
shit.
It's a commentary on current events, digital events that is so spot on. It's not even funny. It's beautiful. Yes. But the Krokus uses watercolor to behind his line work, and it's just amazing. It's organic and textured and funny, and it will. If I read a humor comic, the best case scenario is if I walk away from it amused. It doesn't have to be funny on every page, or if the overall effect of the book was I was amused by it, I consider that a win. There are a number of strips in this that I've really laughed out loud. So, wow, Alex Krokus did the impossible, got me to laugh.
So, one of the early ones I laughed at was Beef, where Alex is on Maury Povich's show. And they're talking about the photo of the stupid turtle with the plastic straw on its head, and the last panel, it's just like, you got something to say to me, bitch? It was holy crap. Yeah, some of them just hit you just right, and whether it's the animation, the illustration, or just how they get to the conclusion, or even just that last panel gag. It's so good.
In some of them, some of the punchline, that last panel isn't in the traditional sense of a punchline. Some of them are just weird, but that's awesome too. I like that. One of my favorites is YouTube Party, where Alex and his bud, who's a frog, they're watching YouTube, and the frog says, "Come on, let's watch some plastic surgery fail compilations," and Alex is like, "No." And the frog says, "Please?" Fine. And while this is going on, Alex goes over, fills a syringe with poison and lethally injects an algorithm. The YouTube algorithm, like kills the YouTube algorithm because of it. That me being, so heavily into YouTube, that's just funny because I've cursed the algorithm many times. There you go.
I can imagine.
Yeah, loud and smart and in color, Alex Krokus. And bring me the head of Susan Lomond from Connor B. Silver Sprocket.
Sprocket.
Get it. Get it all.
Der Sprocket.
I thought I wanted to have a group discussion because I find the humor in comics intriguing because more often than not, it's really not done well. Like,
see, I'm not sure that's true. Like in the sense that what I often say and thank you for crediting me, is that I think humor is way more subjective than other types of storytelling. So you just have a smaller segment of the populace it's going to connect with. So
right,
that's all.
So think on it for a minute. What is the bar? Who raised the bar for Who raised the bar for humor in comics?
Well, see, I think that's tricky for people of our age because, to me, I was into Mad Magazine before I was into comic.
That's the only answer. Right, that's the only answer. But for decades, lifespans, Mad Magazine was entirely formulaic.
For sure.
They had an equation.
But collectors are creatures of habit. We love formula.
Yeah, okay, but or at
least some of us do. You're less interested in that.
No, I think the Kurtzman.
The
Kurtzman years are just ridiculously funny, and then when it became a magazine, and then they started, well, let's lampoon movies and TV shows by having these skits featuring, the characters in said movies and TV shows, but they're going to do wacky things that they never did in the movies. And that became popular. That caught on to the point where that became the standard. Like every humor magazine on the stands, comic, sequential art based, spiraled out of Mad. Cracked is entirely beholden.
Oh, of course.
I mean, Cracked had a big stick in John Severin, but the humor was pretty much mostly derived from Mad. That formula. Sick was the same thing. Crazy was like, even Crazy, which was a little weird, especially coming from Marvel, still relied on the Mad formula. So whenever someone says, oh, Mad is the funniest comic ever, and I have to agree, but then I gotta disagree. It was the funniest comic ever, but then it was the same shit for like 40, 50 years. So is that funny? Even though there may have been like bright spots in it, can you beat a formula to death for that long and still be considered funny? It's tired. Have you read?
I don't know, man. Like Spy versus Spy was as formulaic as it gets, but I'll fucking read 1,000 Spy versus Spy panels and laugh.
Yeah, okay, but that was a universe to itself. I'm talking about the bulk of Mad Magazine. The thing in the front and the thing in the back was always the same. There was either a movie parody in the front or a TV parody in the back, or vice versa. Al Jaffe's.
It always worked for me. Yeah, Jaffe's exactly. And even like the Don Martin jacket, like Don Martin always, like they always looked the same, but they were like slightly I don't know, like it always just worked for me, man. Like similar to like comic strips. Like comic strips are all the same, right? Like some people make fun and hate comic strips because it's like, like how many times did Charlie Brown trip because she pulled the ball away? But like,
well, that's funny.
Like it's like that, but that's what I'm saying. So like, I think funny, I don't know, and I don't know if I read Mad at this age if I would feel the same, but all I know is I read the same fucking, to your point, structure every month for a lot of years and thought it was
a lot of years. Yeah,
a lot of years and thought it was must read.
And it's almost like a magic.
Here we go.
And that formula not only influenced comics, it influenced television too, because Saturday Night Live and Second City Television, 100% beholden to Mad Magazine. Because you look at SNL, it's the same shit you saw in Mad Magazine, just updated to the times.
So I have a question, and we have a lot of lawyers listening, so maybe they can chime in if we don't know the answer. But I always thought that like I remember being a kid reading this stuff, thinking, how do they get away with this? And then I remember probably some adult in my life explained to me that parody is protected, right, under the First Amendment.
It is, yes.
No, I understand.
But I mean, we have lawyers that would. Probably fine tune it.
When did that become the case? Because I always felt like that was the fun part of it, and we take it for granted now is that they would have these characters and these from music and movies and TV doing these outrageous things, and they never got in trouble for it. It's because obviously in retrospect we know it's because they were protected from that. But like, when did it become litigated that you could basically blast the shit out of something and make fun of it and it was okay?
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah,
because
clearly, I mean, we're talking about we're talking about when we were kids reading Mad Magazine, and so that we're talking about the 70s and 80s. So it's been that way for a long ass time.
It was that way at the onset of Mad Magazine. Remember Harvey or Wally Wood's Super Duper Man? Like that was basically Superman,
right? And I'm saying like I don't know. At some point, I assume somebody sued somebody else about all this and it got litigated and it was like, no, it's okay, right?
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
And I would imagine there's lots of case law because it's ironclad, right? Like you I mean, parody is just so ubiquitous and it's never challenged. Like it's just and it's never challenged by companies that challenge everything. I mean, Disney literally sends cease and desist letters to bakeries if they find out that they're putting their characters on cakes. But Mad Magazine can do a send up of Marvel MCU tomorrow, and have Captain America having sex with a chicken and like it's allowed. You know what I mean? Like it's
Disney got on Wally Wood's ass when he did that image of all the Disney characters fucking and smoking and shooting up. But remember way back when in Mad Magazine when they would do parodies of comic strips, and the art style was exactly the same as in the strips, which I thought was awesome, because then the veil between the original and the parody was really thin. And it's like, wow, this could be the original in a warped world. And that just got me going. I mean, I'm older than you guys, so I was...
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like things like Weapon Brown, right? I love that, right?
Yeah, parody.
I mean, talk about taking characters and having to do things that was never intended. So, yeah.
And now it's all becoming even easier to do. What with the copyright laws, copyright things are just expiring everywhere.
Yep.
And so now you're going to see
Popeye just expired, right?
Yeah, you've seen Mickey Mouse in Savage Dragon among all other. Like what?
Winnie the Pooh, right? And,
yeah.
By the way, I owe you an apology, Vince.
Okay, why?
Because you kept telling me that this book was great, and I kept being like, I don't know about all that. But you were right.
Okay, wait. If it's Ice Cream Man, I'm going to squeal.
Nah, it's not. Sorry.
God, okay. I'm not going to squeal. What is it?
It's Kaya.
Yes. Yeah, it's about damn time.
I know, dude. Speaking of reading a lot, I read issues 7 through 23.
Oh, I'm not caught up, but I don't care. You can go wherever you want with it.
Yeah, of course, this is the Wes Craig written and drawn fantasy book that we talked about the first. I mean, you've met. I mean, it's been discussed over the arcs, and I know we all discussed the first arc. And I think I've been honest. I mean, listen, you can't find a bigger fan of Wes Craig's art than I am, right? I mean, I own a ridiculous amount of his art. I love the guy. The first arc for this didn't quite connect with me. Like I was like, okay, yeah, I don't know, like it felt like it felt not slight's not the right word, but it didn't feel like there was anything particularly standoutish, and like I really wasn't sure why I should care about the Kaya or her little brother Jin. I was like, okay, it's a slow burn, and it was. I think the first arc was a slow burn. I really do think it was setting up things, putting up the scaffolding, and so I just let the issues build up. Kept buying the issues, support my boy, but kept buying the issues. You guys kept singing the praises of the book, and I was like, okay, yeah, cool, mental note. And a lot of our community members love the book too, and I'm like, okay, cool. Saw Wes at New York, had dinner with him. He's so I'm like, I didn't stop supporting the book, but I kept not reading it. And then I thought, this is ridiculous. Like I have like three arcs of this book that I haven't read. Like this is silly. And I'll tell you what, like I stopped at the absolute worst time, because issue 7 starts the second arc, and it's been a nonstop romp of fun since then. Like it is. Once we got through the introductions and the setup, it's been so action-packed and creative. And, Wes is in his bag drawing like the Poison Lands, and we started getting much more creative world building with just wild creatures and magic and all kinds of like, tribal warfare. Like it's just the whole thing. And it's been, I feel like going at a breakneck speed too. I mean, every arc just bounces from adventure to adventure. It's just like total classic high adventure fantasy where they are put into a near-death scenario that they have to work their way out of onto their ultimate quest with each successive arc. And it's a blast, dude. I devoured those. I don't know how many issues is that. That's like 16 issues. I devoured those issues like so quickly because it's such a fun, quick read. And yeah, you were right. It's one of the best fantasy books that's being published. It really is. It's great. And I feel dumb for having waited a year and a half to figure it out.
Wow, all grown up.
Yeah.
Well, here's where you're going to part ways with me. I think it's the best art.
No, see, then you got to take it there. Like I can't go with you there because
I know you can't because you love it. I know, but I will say like
it's a lot of fun, and he has a lot of fun creating these worlds.
He does.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's just a blast, man. Like all these different anthropomorphic characters. It's got a little Conan to it, right? Like a teeny bit, like with the swashbuckling and like the.
It also has a lot of Goonies to it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And I like that Jin, like, Jin's kind of a whiny little bitch at times.
Yeah.
But I like that he's coming into his own. Like, he's actually, because the whole premise is that he's the golden child, and he's prophesied to be the being that will overthrow this robot, the Atrian, the Atrians, these robots that are kind of taken over the world. He's rumored to be the person that can dethrone them and give the world back to the people. And for a good chunk of the first couple arcs, you're like, I don't know, this little kid, like he's the chosen one, but is he really the chosen one? And they even question it themselves. They're like, is there really anything special about this kid? And then we're like, oh shit, like, oh, he really is special. Like, he's a shapeshifter. He can wield like primal forces that allow him to, to manifest into different beings. And the thing is, one of the things I love that Wes is doing is when Jin is in different states of stress, he goes into this dream state, this like fugue state. And I love that. And I love how Wes illustrates him battling these inner demons that are quite literally manifest in his mind as these gigantic demon creatures. And he plays with that. Wes has always done this, but he plays in this book with that like singular color palette for those periods. Like sometimes it's red and black, sometimes it's yellow and black, but he kind of like really gets like monochrome or what's duochrome, like is what's two is what
duotone. Yeah,
duotone.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing where, and I love yeah, no, it's a blast. It's a blast ever since that we got that first kind of like scaffolding put up. So.
Wow. Pleased to hear it. I think
maybe I'll bring Ice Cream Man to the table next week.
Hopefully. I think Wes simplified his style a lot, but in doing so...
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But simple is not easier. Simple is more difficult
right.
because what do you eliminate? How do you reduce an emotion down to 2 lines instead of 6? So I think he's accomplished something really special with Kaya in that he doesn't feel the need to just keep moving the pencil on the illustration board, where he's thinking ahead of himself and how can I distill this whatever. He's playing Name That Tune with the lines and he's trying to win. Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's beautiful. It's so loose and wonderful. And the colors, color work especially is amazing. I can't wait for the inevitable. He just put out issue 25, I think. 24, 25.
I have 23 is the last one I just read, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's either 24 or 25 just came out like this week or last week.
Okay.
And so that means deluxe hardcover. Right? It should mean to me.
I would think, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
and I don't think he sold any of this art, right? Because we would know from the Felix drops, so I don't think he sold it.
I'm guessing it's digital.
I don't know, dude. He's pretty much.
I hope.
I mean, he worked traditional all through Deadly Class. I mean, he's 100% traditional in that way. But
well, I hope it is physical. There's something that tells me it may be digital, but I don't know. We should just ping him, ask him, like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Right. More comics. How about that? Jason extends his taste envelope.
Just so you know, it is analog.
Oh, that's great.
He says he uses digital tools at times. He's a template with borders that he uses, things like that. But most of the page is rendered traditionally.
That's awesome.
So there you go.
Good for you. You could buy some.
Well, I don't think he's selling it because Felix will be monetizing the hell out of that.
Well,
so
maybe he will someday.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
They're stacked in someone's garage underneath the who did the pages you want from oh my god, I swear I just had a stroke. The Fear Agent. Remember somebody had their pages of Fear Agent in the garage and you're just like Opeña. Yeah, Opeña.
Yeah.
Still does as far as I know.
Yeah, they're under the Opeña pages.
Yeah, it's a heartbreak.
Every time he walks by him, he's like, screw Jason Wood. I'm not selling those.
Facts. Quan, his art rep, is just slacking big time.
I think there's a market for those Fear Agent pages.
Bro, of course. What? Of course there is. You kidding me?
Yeah, that's like money. Just leaving money on the table.
It's free money, dude.
They're already done.
Showering upon you.
Yeah.
It's cray-cray.
You'll never see them.
Nope.
See, that's how I roll. You tell me you have to apologize for something. I tell you, you're never going to get pages from Fear Agent.
That's our dynamic.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't read things I love. You're like, yep, I don't. And I'm like, then I read something you love, and it's great. And you're like, yep.
All right, tell me what to read for next week. I'll do it. I'll read it. No, I'm serious. I'm 100% serious.
I'll have to give it some thought.
Yeah, give me something good. I don't want to read 100 Bullets.
Oh, my God.
Give me something good, but I don't want to read. Eat a dick.
Dude, I am watching. I have this series of pages coming from Europe that I bought, and I'm just like every day watching these pages slowly make their way across the earth.
From what?
From 100 Bullets.
Oh, really? Yeah,
I've been
that's
buying
right.
a
You
lot of
did
100
say
Bullets
that.
pages, dude.
Yeah.
Been buying them up, scooping them up.
Yeah, art's great. Can't beat the art.
It is. That's facts.
Cannot beat the art.
Can't beat it.
I like 100 Bullets. It's just, it's an you got to be in the right frame of mind to read 100 Bullets because it's so grimy and downbeat. And
Oh yeah, I've read it 3 times now, but that is a book that you cannot skim. You have to focus and remember. Like you have to you have to remember what happened in prior issues. You're gonna lose the narrative.
It's far better in collections.
Yes,
Because I remember buying it in single issues, letting them stack up, and thinking, I have no idea what the frig is going on.
I'm interested. I did like, as you know, I read it after it was done. I read it in collection, and I in those great Vertigo trades that they used to sell a million of. But I don't know what I would have felt off the shelves each month. It might have been frustrating.
There you go.
So, Dap, what did you think of it?
What did I think of?
100 Bullets.
Dude.
You said earlier you finished it. You said you finished it.
I think
Yes.
the fact that he told me to eat a dick means that he liked it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there were, as we were ramping up towards the crescendo, and there were some casualties that kind of hurt. I didn't appreciate someone getting offed by accident.
Almost everybody gets got. I mean,
yes, and that's and rightfully so. These
Yeah.
aren't nice or good people.
No.
I absolutely, because I had stopped reading it every month before we really got to know how the Minutemen came to be and how political it was to put people in place and who's in charge of what and how all the families were kind of even, and I thought it was all brilliant. Azzarello put that together. That was brilliant. And I don't know. I'm not. It's not about hindsight or anything like that. I know there was the whole. It was supposed to be. The book's called 100 Bullets. It's running for 100 issues, and that's. So we're kind of in that. We're kind of forced to tell a story within this many issues, regardless of how many pages each issue might be. But I don't know if it. I really don't know if the last handful of pages kind of had room to breathe. It all happened quickly because it was supposed to. Everything was happening when everybody was coming together. When you had the side split and who was working for who or who was team. It was so great. I loved watching it all play out. But yeah, for the most part, everybody gets what they deserve. And I don't. It was weird when I finished it. I was like, should I haven't felt the need to seek out the Brother Lono miniseries because I'm good. I've got everything I kind of need in these 100 issues in these 5 books. This is great. Will I eventually? Probably, just to see. But I don't need to because it's just this was complete. Everything you needed to know about these characters, this world that they live in, is all right here. It was extremely well done. It was way better than I knew. Just how it started and the way it's been talked about over the years, I knew that it was going to be good.
Sure.
But even my whatever expectations I had, they were surpassed. It was extremely well done. I was so happy with it. And you can even see it's weird because he was good at the start, but there are moments where like Eduardo even kind of like rises a little bit. Is maybe some of the stories just he wanted to put a little bit more extra love in them. It hit him a certain way, but there were some issues that were gorgeous. But yeah, it was so fun and oh my God, Vince, from the first book. With Loop's cousin and Lano, who had his way with the cousin's girl.
I remember that.
There's a callback later on, and it's fucking brilliant. It's amazing. It's just oh my God. Yeah, no, the way you don't just you would expect these little moments in someone's life and they're just kind of discarded or not thought about again. But Azzarello just has a way of weaving things and not leaving threads frayed for too long. But it was so good. Yeah, I definitely.
I gotta ask, favorite characters? Are you a Luke guy? Are you a Dizzy guy?
I do. Oh, I mean, I was a Dizzy from day one. But there was. But I absolutely Cole is great, and but. I think Wiley might have hurt the most. And the fucking the trumpet player too. But the that's pretty much Cole, Wiley. Loop is cool. I don't dislike Loop. And he was smart enough to not because he was hanging with Lono for a while and of course Shepard. I really do like Shepard.
Sure.
And I kind of wanted to like Graves early on when I was reading it as they were coming out.
I don't think
but it's definitely easy to it's very there is a moment where I think no matter how you feel about Phil Graves, you definitely land on one way with him from the rest of the series.
I was going to say, he's nebulous, intentionally nebulous through most of it, but I think by the end, everyone kind of realizes he can get his fuck offs. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So I don't want to be an asshole.
Uh-huh.
But do you think that 100 Bullets expended Azzarello's how do I put this? It seems to me, who has tried a lot of Azzarello stuff both before and after 100 Bullets,
sure,
he's never ascended to the 100 Bullets level. After,
I would couch your what I'm reading as the intent of your question in a little bit different. Like, say that I absolutely think 100 Bullets is his crowning achievement.
Yeah,
but I probably have enjoyed, from the sound of it, of the way you couch the question, I've probably enjoyed more of his other work than.
I find his work enjoyable. I don't think any of it post 100 Bullets has the resonance or the staying power that 100 Bullets has. Meaning 100 Bullets is a classic. I don't think he ever produced anything on that level since.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I do agree. I've enjoyed lots of other stuff he's written, but I don't, and even the stuff he's done with Azzarello since then. I think that 100 Bullets is for sure the achievement. Because it's one of those things where, and it's a rarity in today's comic world, maybe not even possible in today's comics market, depending, but he got to write a really long form, very intricate series to its completion.
Sure.
Which is very hard to do in today's market. So yeah, I'm with you. And I will say, because I'm overly obsessive about this book, I would, like, it's interesting how you said, Dap, like you felt like the end wrapped up very quickly. I do think it hits a crescendo, but I will say, in in Azzarello and Risso's defense on that, I mean, the final arc, Wilt, is 12-issue arc. So it's not as though, like, you know, like, is it possible that he was like, damn, I only got 2 issues left, I got to bang all this out? Like, I feel like it was, like, like, the last arc was a year. He did have a year to finish things up. So,
yeah.
But,
and I didn't do a
I
page
fucking
count.
love it. I mean,
don't know
listen,
how
I
many.
mean, like I said, it's weird how you remember certain things. Like, I remember the day when I reached out to Eduardo's son, who was his art rep. I was in Florida at our Florida house. It was over Thanksgiving break, and he hadn't had the stuff on his website yet. He didn't have like the art on the website yet because he was just building the company. And I was like, well, I'm really interested in Megan and in Dizzy. Like, can I, what pages do you have of that? And he just literally sent me like an email with like a list of issues that he had. And I was like, okay. So I went through over that Thanksgiving break, like every issue, and was like making notes of like pages that I liked. And I had to email him and be like, hey, and this is how art was collected back in the day. It's not like that much anymore. And I was like, hey, what about, I was like, issue 13, page 12, and I send him like a list of 50, pages that I would be possibly interested in. And then, some he didn't have, some were already sold, so forth. And then I remember he sent me back like 20 or so that were still, that I'd asked about that were available. I hemmed and hawed and bought a few, and I'm just so sick to my stomach over the ones I didn't buy because I know where they all are, and I've tried to buy them again, and basically everyone tells me, play like, go fuck yourself. And it just hurts my heart because like I could have had them for a really cheap price, and what might have been.
Hiya. See?
The only art you regret, Vince, is what you buy.
Right, penny wise, dollar foolish.
So
like
true,
you could have had them.
Dap, you remember when we were at Baltimore and that Buscema Avengers page, and I was like, oh, I can't spend $3,000. It's crazy.
You've spent that on a commission.
No, I know. I'm saying, but this was 12 years ago. What 12?
Back then, yeah. Jeez.
And I wasn't really buying. I was just starting to buy art. Like I was just starting. I was on kind of a fun hobby, and I was like, oh, that's crazy.
You getting a Tony Fleece jam piece? All right.
Dude, that same piece sold at Heritage for $75.
Oh my god. There's a markup for you. Holy shit.
I know.
That's where I got I got the Jim Starlin Thanos quick sketch at Baltimore.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's where we met Jorge Corona before he was quote unquote Jorge Corona. Yeah.
And Ariella.
Govar, Ariella Cristantina. Yeah, that was quite a trip. I can't wait to go back this year.
Oh, that's right. That's where I'm not. No, this isn't an attempt to take credit for anything. That was the first time you met Govar, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because he did the Medusa. Yeah. Because I was talking him up because he did a when DC had their short-lived webcomic for up-and-coming creators. He had an underwater comic which I absolutely loved.
The way he drew water blew us away. We went up and talked to him about how did you? He drew an Aquaman with like the water glistening off of the metal. That is like I've rarely seen that rendered traditionally in that way. It was like, it looked real, and Govar's been our boo ever since. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah, both of them was a great show. Can't wait to go back.
We'll be back, baby.
Hey, everybody.
Episode 1,000, Vince.
I know. And then we're done. Hey, everybody.
He says that with such joy in his heart.
I do. We hope you have enjoyed this. Yes. We hope you have enjoyed this, and you come back next time because we will be here. Hook or by crook, talking about the comics. Do yourself a favor. Tromp on over to cheapgraphicnovels.com. Cheapgraphicnovels.com have everything you want. And if they don't have it, they'll be able to get it for you. OGNs, trade paperbacks, manga, omnibus editions, art books, all of that stuff for a fraction of what you'd pay elsewhere. Please leave us a review wherever you listen to this. We would greatly appreciate it. We don't want to inject the algorithm with poison, at least not right now. We want to pat the algorithm on the head and say, oh, we love you so much. And last but certainly not least, just check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/11o'clockcomics. there's a whole lot of shaking going on there. Remember, $5 a month gets you the bonus episode, of which I will be dropping. What's today? Friday. It's almost 4 hours of bonus crap. We scrape the bottom of our shoes in the digital realm into your earphones. That's basically what it is. And I hope you love it. And we have, for $10 a month, you get the bonus episode and the book of the month episode, and or whatever episode we decide would be a bonus. So it could be a book of the month, or it could be an investigation into a string of issues. We're all over the map. But it's fun, and you get extra audio and stuff, and you get access to the Slackaroni, the Slack, where everybody just goes bonkers all the time. Book clubs in there, TV, movies, comics, fitness, how you doing, music, all that shit. There's something. I go in and I've missed 13 posts. Like, how did that happen? I just opened it an hour ago, maybe 2 hours ago, whatever. In the meantime, do yourself a favor in your travels and read. I don't know. I don't know if I have anything. David, I don't have anything.
Wait, what?
I don't have it in your travels.
That is horrendous.
I told you I didn't read that much.
I'm looking at your list. Is there a movie you want to see? Is there
dude?
Is there a movie I want to? Oh,
have you watched the new Dune show on Max?
Dune?
Dune Prophecy?
No,
Yeah,
I don't
Prophecy.
even like the movies. No, I haven't. No.
You don't like the Villeneuve movies?
Nope.
That really doesn't
I
surprise me.
think that kid is disturbingly overrated.
Chalamet?
You don't like the Chalamet?
No, I think the Dylan movie is like ridiculously bad.
Oh, wow.
My God, dude, he's okay.
Whatever. Whatever. But anyway, what I did see for the first time, because my students wanted to do a project based on it, is Arcane.
Oh, there you go.
I hesitate to say this, but I don't think I've seen a more beautiful 39 minutes in a long time.
It is absolutely one of the most beautiful animated series of all time. Period.
Now, I viewed it out of context because I said, okay, what do you guys want to do next? Oh, let's do Arcane. We could do environments and stuff. Like, all right, specifically what episode? And they're like, season 2, episode 6. Has the most diverse environments. We'll watch that. So we watched that, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. But I had no context. Some guy got turned into an animal, and they got to heal him, and he's their father, and chaos magic, and astral plane, and these people in red and black horn in and fuck up the day, and this little kid does something. I had no context for any of it. It didn't really matter, because what I saw was absolutely head-spinningly gorgeous. I told them this. I said, what have you done? Because my brain is spinning with all of these visuals, and I'm trying to make sense of it and just slowly parse everything I've seen, but now I have to watch the whole frickin' thing.
Yeah.
Arcane. Go watch it if you haven't.
The most expensive animated show ever.
It looks it.
Yeah.
But it's not just, but it's not, yes, it is computer aided animation.
Yeah.
But there's some traditional animation in there, some watercolor sequences. I heard there's some charcoal drawing sequences, but there is a human mind behind all of it. The color palettes are like, this is what happens when you die. Whatever colors you see when you transition over to whatever it is we go to, I bet you it looks a lot like Arcane. Because it's ungodly good color palettes.
It took 6 years to make the first season.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And the combined budget for both seasons is reported to be $250 million.
Yeah, that's why there's no third season.
Yeah.
Well, I heard it ends though with season. There's going to be
it
tie-in
ends abruptly
shows.
because
It does
ends
end.
abruptly because
there is a conclusion more or less. We missed the first because it was introduced in 2021, so we completely missed it, and it wasn't until I think it was, we went to the movies, and there was a trailer for the second season, and a couple months went by, and then we were just flipping through and scrolling through Netflix, and then that preview popped up, and it reminded us that we wanted to check it out. So we started it, and yeah, it was just, we were blown away every episode. The first season's amazing. Second season I like a lot, but the first season is kind of it's on a whole other level.
I'll keep it 100. I thought the second season was a mess because I feel like they were just like, oh, we got to wrap all this up. It's like comfort. Like I'm with you. I thought the first season was like probably one of the best cartoons I've ever seen, and I thought the second season was like visually as stunning. Like visually, it's incredible. But I was like, oh man, like my head was spinning definitely. Like as the season went on, I'm like, phew, lots going on, and like a lot of it's like very, very like high concept, but you do you.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the art, the visuals, the color palettes. I'm like, wow, I'm trying to soak in all the aesthetics of it, and I'm such a dog. I'm like, ooh, animated side boob. That's nice.
Vince,
there's some sapphic love. There's some sapphic love for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And as a fellow Blue Sky lover, Vince, if you do a hashtag search for anything Arcane, there's some amazing artists on Blue Sky to begin with, but they all everybody I follow at least seems to all love Arcane. There's a ton of fan art and even professionally produced pieces that are out there.
Now, see, just to swing it all back to Dark Horse. Dark Horse has a tendency to do a lot of tie-in books, Halo, all that stuff. Critical Role, which I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. I'm rapping actually. But if Dark Horse did an Arcane book, I think I'd be all over that, depending on the artist.
Depending on the artist, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the big question.
I don't want a schlub, and I don't want who's the publisher that does the books with the screen captures in it? Like, I don't want that either. Paper cuts. Yeah.
Paper cuts with
I don't want that either. But yeah, I was enchanted by it.
Nice.
That's so great.
So there, in your travels.
The third issue, the question all on the Watchtower. I was just cruising right along with it until, the last page is a beautiful sight, especially if you're a Triangle era lover. But there's the book is still, the miniseries is still written by Alex Segura, and I swear to God, eventually I'll get this lad's name right. The Irish dude, Jason, Cian Tormey. Is it Sean?
It's Sean. Yeah, it's
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. And colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr. This so we're still. Renee is still investigating the mysteries of the Watchtower. After sort of kind of only because of the way it looked, of needing to not interrogate but at least question Kate, Batwoman, because of Ken, one of the challengers of the unknown, was found basically mauled in the Question's quarters, and the camera showed Batwoman leading the animal into the quarters. But once Renee and Kate kind of get past that, they go and question the Eradicator who attacked the Watchtower in the previous issue, and while they're interrogating Eradicator, someone else, another hero, is going around the station and kind of attacking other heroes, taking them off the board because something else larger is planned. And the reveal of the person who is pulling the strings, who is trying to, who is putting all this together, they if he says if they had brought the question in sooner, he might have been able. The question would have been able to stop him or stop this group, but now it's too late because he claims the Watchtower belongs to him, and we have the Eradicator in the back, Nightshade, who seems to have turned, and fucking Hank Henshaw looking super badass as a cyborg Superman that I haven't seen in ages. And I cannot wait for the next issue and for Superman to see what they all have to face. But Alex hit me right in the feels with this. I saw this page as we ramped up to it, and I almost squealed. These are the little things that just get me all excited, and when things all kind of everything comes back to the triangle ever. But this was a fun issue. I can't wait for the series to be collected. In your travels, the question all along the Watchtower.
Nice. Okay, I got two things to talk about. First of all, you people listening are good people. I know you are. So don't be racist. Take your ass to the theater this week and go see Captain America: Brave New World.
Yes.
Because it's going to be lit. Anthony Mackie up in there. Got a lot of that. Always gotta raise a glass to our man Harrison Ford, even at like 90, dude's still doing his thing. But far more importantly than either of those two things, people, the decades-long wait for the Serpent Society to become part of the MCU is here. It's fucking happening, dude.
Yeah.
It's here. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what?
Yeah.
Dude, Giancarlo Esposito is Seth Volker. Are you kidding me right now? I am going to be semi-naked at this theater. Hopefully I won't get arrested for exposure. Can't wait. Going to see it on Valentine's Day. It's my Valentine's Day present to my boo. She's very excited too. Can't wait. Gonna be lit. Go see it, people. Go see it. Other thing, in your travels. Not a book I need to implore you all to read because it was like on everybody's top 5 of their best of last year. But I am current on Transformers, having read issues number 16 and 17. Gotta tell you, it's still continuing to kick ass. All I'll say is this. Issue number 16, guys, we got Bruticus versus fucking Devastator. Are you shitting me? We got two of my favorite combiners, both of which are Decepticons, by the way, beating the living shit out of each other, and I was here for every goddamn panel of it. I couldn't believe it. Marking out like crazy. Then issue 17, gotta give credit to the D-Dub. He has been very, very judicious in his now almost 2-year run on this book of not creating lots of new character. He's been sticking with the OGs, but in this issue, and it's all over the comics media, so I'm not spoiling anything here, we get a new Transformer. And by the way that he's introduced, I'm guessing he is going to be a prominent member of Energon universe for a while to come. And it makes all the sense that it would be a creation of WJ because the Transformer's name is Shredhead. He's like the most metal Transformer ever. He is he transforms from a like one of those 80s custom like vans. You know those vans with like the crazy, graffiti paint jobs and the carpeting inside? Like that's what his transformed version is. But he's this giant badass new Transformer that is an amalgamation of a bunch of like deceased Transformers that were part of Cliff Jumper's clan, and he takes their sparks and the remnants of their sparks, and he creates the first Transformer on Cybertron that was created in decades, in this lore. So super cool, really, really fun. Continue to love that series so much, and implore you all to check it out if you for some reason are not yet.
Sage advice.
Shredhead, Vince, are you kidding me?
Yeah, love it.
Did you see the new Hasbro poll? What do you call it? The I can't think of the name right now. When they do the expensive ass ones, the HasLabs. Did you see what the new one is?
No.
It's Leo Kaiser.
Oh, see, now I'm interested in that. Like, you say Devastator, you lose me. But Leo Kaiser,
See,
okay.
that's super hurtful. Why would
It's not hurtful. I don't like the construction vehicles. I think it's dumb.
That's ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. It's back in the day. If you built Devastator, it was wobbly and janky and shit. And
But there's such great Devastators now.
oh yeah, now there is with the advent of sure, but Leo Kaiser, yeah, okay. I like the Seacons better than I like Devastator.
Oh, you like Predaking? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Listen, I'm down for all the combiners. It's like the only Transformers I really care about, so I love the combiners.
Yeah,
Leo Kaiser though is it's $300.
I know it's a lot of money.
And they're saying it's because, and it still sounds like bullshit to me, but like they're saying it's because they're all new one of a kind sculpts that you can't ever like as you know, Vince. But for our listeners, like a lot of Transformers are like the same sculpts, just reused, repainted, or like a head on a body. Like they're not really new, but Leo Kaiser, because it's not really part of the traditional American Transformers lore. It's more straight from Japan. There's not like it did make its way eventually, but it's Leo Kaiser is definitely fringe in terms of
few and far between. Yeah.
So they're saying all 5 are brand new molds that will never, and also likely never be used again.
I kind of believe them.
Rather.
I kind of believe.
I do believe them. I'm kind of leaning towards getting it because I do love Leo Kaiser miners. But pretty dope.
I only have 2 of the giant Transformers.
Which ones?
I have the only one you need, Scorponok.
Oh, but he's not a combiner.
No, but I'm talking the giant ones, like the big ass 2 foot tall.
Yeah.
I have
Ultra Magnus.
No, Triptychon.
Triptychon. Okay, yeah.
I wanted the Ark. There was a ton of them that I wanted, but like, where do you put those things?
My favorite combiner as a kid was Predaking, and it's like for a nostalgic reason. My grandfather, for some reason, started buying me the Predacons when I was a kid.
Oh, see, they got a reason then.
Yeah, and so I thought, and also at the time, there was like a what's the word? Predaking was bigger than the other combiners, like the molds. The toy, for some reason the toy was out of scale. It was a larger combiner at the time, which was weird. But yeah, I have them all though. I'm pretty sure I have them all. The only one I don't have is the I don't even can't think of the name of it. Is the one that the Dinobots transform into?
I think it was just called Beast.
Okay, yeah, I don't have that. I know they've made some. I don't know if there was ever official like U.S. like Hasbro release, but I know there's definitely some like Japanese like.
Yeah, I can't front on Predaking.
Party.
Predaking's pretty freaking awesome.
Pretty cool, dude. Right?
Yeah, the wings especially. Yeah, Predaking's awesome.
Yeah, sure.
Great design.
Before we go, do you like getting letters? Check this out. So if you
like in the mail,
yes, like written letter. So if you go to tanaford.com/store,
Okay.
she is our good friend is reopened the store. There are pieces there, but can also, of course, request commissions. This is separate than what the Slackers are going to find out about. If you want to know what that's about, you can always join the Slack. But when she sent me the text today, she says she's on a commissions and letters kick, and I had to ask, like, what exactly did she mean by letters? She has a typewriter and likes typing up letters. So there you go. If it'll be a quick note of thanks, or maybe a poem or a quote. But if you order artwork from the website, you get the art and possibly a little sketch, something along with it. So check out the site. Find something there, because there are plenty of pieces that are available now. But and free media mail shipping on orders over $100.
Awesome. Nice. Well worth it.
Facts.
For sure.
Yep. Love you. Yeah. And we love you people for listening to this. We hope you come back next week. Get yourself to a comic shop. Just buy something online, physical, doesn't matter. Buy a comic, read a comic, love a comic, talk about a comic. That's what we do. In the meantime, say goodnight. Robin Bougie, my dude, has a new thing. It's not Cinema Sewer, which was his OG magazine.
Yeah, you love it.
It's not Gutter Hunter, which was the thing between Cinema Sewer and this thing. He's doing something called Sonic Sewer, which he's just skipping the periodical and just going straight to collected edition, which is awesome. It's $20. Just Google Robin or search for Robin Bougie and Cinema Sewer Store Envy, and you'll find it. David.
Good night.
He's Canadian. And he's filthy. He's filthy.
Yes.
I love him so much. He draws like a bastard,
Your heart
too.
is so big.
It is, but don't be telling people that. What's wrong with you? Wow. Did air.
Well, you talked on for...
Did air. All right, people. Just tell them you love them and come back next week. Implore them, because we're going to have something really special. I don't know what it is. I'm just making shit up.
That's it for that one.